you in your mind to put some lists together. If I were to ask you, name some holy places for you. Don't say anything, just think. Holy place. It could be this church. Maybe it's Rome, Jerusalem. Maybe it's your hunting shack. What are holy places? If I were to have you list some holy things, what would you include? Maybe that Bible you have at home. Maybe that crucifix hanging in your house. If I were to have you name holy people that are living, who would you say? Maybe Pope Francis. Maybe Bishop Kepler. Well, what I want to do today is something a little different. Instead of focusing only on the readings, I want to focus on another part of the Mass that we make lists for. This is the creed that happens after the homily. And we kind of list the things that we believe. Now, if you think about it, we have three different kinds of creeds that we use during the Mass. One is called the baptismal creed. We use it when we have baptism at Mass, but also during the Easter season. This is that call and response. Remember, I say, do you believe? And you say, yes, or I say, I do. Got that? Well, another creed that we use is from the very earliest of the church. It's called the Apostles' Creed. We use this, during the winter months, like during Advent and Christmas, and then the ordinary time before Lent, so those January days. I'd like you to look at it. If you take your hymnals out and look at the inside of the back cover. Everybody do this. Get a book or share a book. Everybody open it up. So you notice this Apostles' Creed basically has three things they say they believe. I believe in God the Father, and in Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. You get the pattern there? It's just like the sign of the cross. We say that all the time. That trinity of things that we believe in. Well, there's another creed that we use. It's called the Nicene Creed. We use this during all the summer and the fall. And that creed you can find on the inside cover. So look at that. Now this creed, as you notice, is long. This creed was established in the year 325 when the Emperor Constantine, he wanted to settle some of the debates going on about who Jesus was. Specifically what they called Arianism, which is that whole idea of saying, well, Jesus wasn't equal to God the Father, Jesus was just a holy man, and maybe became God, so no, I'm going to settle that. That's why in the creed we've got that really goofy word, consubstantial. Can you see it? It's over on the right column. About 6 lines down, 7 lines down. You see it? Begotten, not made, consubstantial with the Father. Basically that means one in being. Now the reason we start using that term again is because, 5, 6 years ago when they wanted to revise all the Mass, to get the language to be more in a pure translation from the original Latin, they want to make sure everyone's saying the same things. So they use that language. It's a bumpy word, but basically when you come about it, it means one in being, which means that Jesus is equal with the Father. I mean, it's one in being with the Father, not less than, fully human, but also fully divine. Now there's a couple of other things. If you look down on that same right column, where it says all bow, the following words. So what that's about is the fact of saying, when you get to that, it's like, wow, Jesus is fully God, fully divine, but is one of us. It's kind of like, wow, I'm not worthy, but it's like, wow, that means Jesus, had the same, bad breath, stinky feet, dandruff, all the stuff, just like you and I, everyone. Jesus is fully one of us. I'm like, wow, what an honor that God would become the same as us. So when you get to that part, what's appropriate is to kind of just do a little head nod or a bow. Do you have to? No, you don't have to, but I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of a way for us to remind ourselves, say, wow, God knows exactly what I'm going through. All my worries and warts, all this stuff. Wow, God is right there. But another bumpy part of the creed is just right above that when it says, for us men and for our salvation. So I want you to do a little experiment. Right now in your mind, I want you to think of the 5 most important men in your life, living or dead. People you know or knew. 5 most important men. Just think. Okay. Now, did any of you think of females at all? Anybody think of a female? Raise your hand. There's 1, 2. At the other mass we have, there's another one. Well, I didn't. When I use the word men, I think of males. Okay? But the translation here on this time for men is meant to be all people or all humankind. But for me, that doesn't fit. So here's what I do when I pray this. I simply just omit that word. When I get there, I'll say, for us and for our salvation. So it works for me, because for men, I want to include the women too when I pray it. Because the word men does not mean females when I pray. So you do what you want. But the whole idea of recognizing the Nicene Creed or the Apostles' Creed or the Baptismal Creed, it's based on the threeness of God. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. What we call the Trinity. And it's the whole idea that God is not something far away. God is not like watching us from the heavens, but God is right here. So you've heard me say this before. Let me tell you, the best way to think of the Trinity is that God the Father is God before us. God leading us, God in all creation. God, Jesus Christ, is God with us, alongside us, who knows exactly what we're going through. God, the Holy Spirit, is God within us, or God in us. Before us, alongside us, within us. But it's the whole idea of recognizing, so if God is holy, then everything before us and alongside us, and even us, we are holy. We are the place of God. We, as Paul says again, we are the temple of God. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because remember the gospel. Jesus makes this story up about the rich man. And basically he's saying, those of you who are, you're doing fine, you've got enough to eat, everything. He's saying, woe to you if you keep putting off other people. If you don't start thinking about those other people and your responsibility to them. Part of that means, of course, people who don't have as much as we do. And our responsibility to help them out financially, just like the man in the gospel. But also, it represents all those people that somehow we think are different than us, that we have no time for. Like, say, right now, we've got all these issues with Muslims. Somehow thinking that they are second class to our superior way of honoring God. Or for some people, you're thinking like, people who are divorced. Or thinking of people who vote differently than you, or think differently politically. The message Jesus is trying to get across is to say, wow, everyone is the place of God. Every place is where God dwells. Everything is holy. And if you keep putting some people aside, keep putting people in categories, keep labeling those kind of people, as Jesus says in the gospel, woe is you. At the end of time, woe is you if you keep acting like there are some people in your life who are not holy. So think of that person that you work with, or that kid at school. They're so weird. Now, that's the place of holiness. We're being challenged to honor and respect all the places where God dwells. Please stand.